Yo, Netflix, I hope you're listening to this. Netflix, think about a Miyagi prequel. Or 1940s Okinawa. Young Miyagi, young Sato. That would be crazy. My Karate Kid marathon continues with the Karate Kid Part 2, which is the follow-up to the surprise hit of 1984's The Karate Kid that's inspired a million youths of the 80s and grown men like myself who grew up in the 80s who are still inspired by this movie. The Karate Kid Part 2 is the follow-up to that. This movie almost should have been called Miyagi because Karate Kid Part 2 is really Miyagi's story. It's just The Karate Kid Part 2 because Daniel kind of takes a backseat to Miyagi. And Daniel really has, I mean, he's a secondary character in his own movie pretty much. So just a brief recap here. Karate Kid 2 picks up after the first movie. Daniel wins the tournament. Now he has the respect. The Cobra Kai has been defeated. And matter of fact, the movie opens up with the Cobra Kai dealing with that defeat, with John Kreese taking his frustrations out. He couldn't take that L, so he had to choke the shit out of Johnny. The big bad Cobra Kai sat there, let him do the shit. No, take it back, take it back. Bobby did try to help him. Kreese hit him with an elbow to the chest. And then Tommy said something, but Tommy didn't get involved. And Dutch, the most badass of the group, Dutch watched the whole thing. And when Kreese put Johnny in that chokehold, Dutch turned his back on his homie and let Kreese damn near kill him. And Miyagi has to come in, all 5 foot of him, has to come in and G-check John Kreese. All right. And that's how it starts. And after that, it becomes Miyagi's story. So Miyagi is, still doing his thing, teaching Daniel karate. Daniel's, he's continuing his karate journey. And Miyagi gets a letter from his hometown, Okinawa, his home country, Okinawa, that his daddy's sick and he needs to get home right now. And Daniel being his best friend now, and he just really takes a liking to Miyagi. He sees him as a father figure. He goes with him. Miyagi has to go to Miyagi has to go to Okinawa to not only see about his sick father, but to deal with the past demons that he left in Okinawa, which comes in the form of his former friend / fellow student, Sato. Right? Him and Sato had a falling out over a chick. And I said this in the first Karate Kid review. That thing between a woman's legs, but that's a powerful thing, son. It's a powerful thing. Miyagi and his homeboy fell out because of a girl. Sato was arranged to marry, because remember, Sato was rich. He was arranged to marry this chick. And Miyagi was in love with her. So Miyagi said, fuck tradition. This is my bitch. And Sato says, oh no, you disgrace me? We got to fight to the death over a woman. God damn, man, whatever happened to bros before hoes? But anyways, y'all, so yeah, that's pretty much Karate Kid Part 2. And by the way, Sato has a nephew who's his #1 student, like Daniel is Miyagi's #1 student. And of course, they beef and clash. Now, here's my issue with Karate Kid 2. And mind you, I dig this movie, all right? I really dig this movie. When it comes to 80s pop culture, yes, The Karate Kid is an 80s phenomenon. But as far as like 80s nostalgia, man, and just 80s classics, you got to put Karate Kid in 2 in there also. Because not only did it gross the most money out of any movie in the franchise, but it was really popular. It came on HBO, I don't know how many times. It spawned a cartoon series that had a toy line. Karate Kid Part 2 and a Nintendo game. This movie, really put Karate Kid into the mainstream, so you got to give it its props. But my problem with this movie, when you see the trailer for this, the trailer shows somebody that's supposed to be Daniel, but it's a body double, talking about he's stronger, he's faster, so Daniel's supposed to be 10 times better than he was in the first movie, which should make sense because Miyagi taught him karate in the first movie, and he single-handedly took out the whole Cobra Kai. So by Part 2, you would figure Daniel would be a badass. Not the case at all. Daniel is still on the same level he was in the first movie. And if anything, he probably took a back step because when he goes to Okinawa, Chosen, the nephew of Sato, bullies him the whole fucking movie. It's not till the end where Daniel fights him and they do the drum shit where Daniel whooped his ass. All right. Daniel should have been way more advanced by now, by the second movie, but that's not the case. They follow the same formula where he meets a new foe. The foe defeats him again and again and again, and then at the end, with some help by Miyagi, with some wisdom by Miyagi, he's able to muster up the strength to finally defeat the bad guy. It's the same kind of formula. That's my issue with it, but I will give this movie props that it did try to be different. it really got away from everything in the first movie. Matter of fact, the only cast members that came back was Miyagi and Daniel. Pat Morita and Ralph Macchio. Well, the Cobra Kai had a cameo, but that was only in the beginning. The movie had nothing to do with nobody really from the first movie. So this movie, so even though it followed the formula of the first movie somewhat, but it tried to do its own thing. Another issue I have with this film is that it lacked the energy and the charisma of the first film. The first film was lightning in a bottle, so it's almost unfair to try to compare it to that, because it's hard to catch that same magic twice. Only few franchises have done that. Like Rocky 2 had the same magic as Rocky 1, and Empire Strikes Back surpassed Star Wars. But in a lot of cases, it's very rare for the sequel to surpass the original. That was really special, and that first movie was really special. But the second one is a good movie. It's good, but it's not great. Even though, like, I praise the 80s, but I will call a spade a spade. This movie, it just lacked the energy, the charisma. It lacked that it factor that the first movie had. And there were times, because I rewatched this recently, me and my daughter, and we both kind of got bored, and my daughter checked out, and she got on TikTok for about 15 minutes. So my daughter actually missed 15 minutes of this movie being on TikTok, compared to the first film where she was engaged, all in. Even when the movie slowed down, she was into it. When they get to Okinawa, the movie kind of takes it just sits in a rocking chair and just does this for a little while until it starts to pick up again when the beef between Miyagi and Sato really amps up. This movie did have an intriguing story with the whole beef with Miyagi and Sato, and I'm sitting there watching this, right? I'm thinking to myself, damn, this could have been a Shaw Brothers production. You know, the old Kung Fu Shaw Brothers movies back in the day. This could have been made back then, but with niggas that really knew karate. This story was intriguing, and if it would have had some really good Kung Fu and karate to go with it, I think this could have really been a masterpiece, because it's a story of, two rivals who, had the same master, they're equals, and they both have #1 students, and not only do they have to clash, but their students have to clash as well. And I like the idea of that. And then both of them are fighting over chicks. Miyagi and Sato were beefing over this woman, and then Daniel and Chosen, well, I guess they were kind of fighting over a chick. No, not really, because Chosen hated Daniel just to hate him. I guess he hated Daniel because Sato hated Miyagi, you know what I'm saying? So he just had to beef with him. And speaking of Chosen, Chosen, he was a decent villain. No, he had the look of the villain, but as compared to like Johnny, nah. I mean, he was a little meaner, I guess, and he was alright. Chosen served his purpose, alright, and he proved to be, I guess, a dangerous foe, because, like I said, he punked Daniel the whole movie. So if you look at it, by the end of one, Daniel was much better in karate, because Daniel could have beat Johnny in the first movie without, if he didn't have that fucked up leg and if Kreese didn't tell him to cheat, Daniel would have beat Johnny pretty easily. So by the time he gets to Chosen, he's supposed to be a lot better, and Chosen just punks him. So I guess that goes to show Chosen would probably beat Johnny in a fight, maybe. Hopefully in season 3 we might get that. Who knows? Also watching this, you know what I was thinking of? I said, yo, how crazy would that be if Cobra Kai would have a spin-off series called Miyagi, which would be a prequel to the Karate Kid movie. So so check this out. Just hear me out, y'all. So Miyagi takes place in Okinawa back in the day when Miyagi and Sato were coming up and they were young. And then the series goes through their whole karate journey, training under Miyagi's pops. And then it ends with him and Sato having that beef and Miyagi having to flee to America to get away from fighting Sato. That would be ill. Because I think one of the things about Karate Kid 2 that disappointed me as well is that the whole movie built up to this big clash between Sato and Miyagi, and we didn't get that. Which I understand, because both these guys are old, and from my understanding, both actors really didn't know karate. You know what I'm saying? So it probably would have been a very dull fight, but it's like, damn, we should have got some kind of clash between the two, because it was hyped up through the whole movie, but instead we get that with Daniel and Chosen at the end. And, like I said, it's called Karate Kid 2, but this is really Miyagi's story. But yo, Netflix, I hope you're listening to this. Netflix, think about a Miyagi prequel. Or 1940s Okinawa. Young Miyagi, young Sato. That would be crazy. Even the love interest in this film, Yukie, I think her name is. Yeah, she's a cute little China girl, man. Yukie was fine. If you notice in each of these movies, Daniel has a different love interest in each one. And I think Yukie, Yeah, well, no, well, 3, well, okay, I'm gonna get to 3 later on. 3, that's a whole nother review. Yeah, Yukie was cool. You know, I thought she was a good love interest. I think the chemistry between her and Daniel was cool. You know, have no issues with it. And I know I keep comparing it to the first one, but it's impossible not to. The first one was so fucking awesome that my pops took me to see this in '86, and I'm expecting the same type of movie as the original. And as a 6-year-old kid, I was either 6 or 7. I walked out thinking that was good, but it wasn't as good as the first one. Even as a kid, I realized that. But like I said, it was popular. It did spawn another sequel. It spawned a cartoon series and a popular toy line in a video game. So it is ingrained in pop culture, whether we like it or not. But I think The Karate Kid 2 is a good film, but I wouldn't put it up there with the all-time greats. So wrapping this up, y'all, I give Karate Kid Part 2 a B-. Solid performances, once again, by Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi, Ralph Macchio as Daniel, and Chozen and Sato I thought were very good, but I feel like Daniel really didn't have an arc in this movie. I felt like Daniel should have been more advanced as far as his karate and his confidence, and he's pretty much playing the same role that he played in the first movie. It's almost like he had no growth from the first movie. You know, he didn't get his balls until the end. You know, he did have that cool scene when he chopped the fucking ice, but other than that, that was it. Until the drum shit at the end, Daniel was still a pussy. Now, next time I'm going to be reviewing Karate Kid 3. Is Daniel still going to be a pussy? We shall see. So, y'all, B- is what I got for Karate Kid 2. What did you guys think about it? Comment freely below. If you like it, did the content, hit that like and subscribe, notification bell in the corner. This is Rashad G. Sign out this motherfucker. See you in the next video.